What up, and welcome to the Roundtable. I am your host, Brad Wakai, alongside my esteemed co-host, Tyson. What's going on, baby?
I mean, I don't know how I got that title. I mean, the last couple ones this week, I haven't been esteemed. That I must have done well on the other two or impressed you somehow. I've
It's
gotten
more
no new
that
accolades.
it's more that you're speaking to me 3 days in a row here, and I think that's
Mm.
a award in of itself.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been tough. I want to thank my family. Um, been leaning on them a lot through this time.
I'm sure it's Oscar season too. You got your speech all made up for coming here 3 days in a row.
I do want to say that I've been to more movies since COVID hit, like at the movie theater, than I have in like almost my entire life. Um, Before this, I was in one. I went to Sing 2 with my nephew
Mm.
the other week, and we were here, and then 90 feet away was the closest person. It was perfect.
Yeah, oh, that's ideal.
It
The
was yeah.
worst is when you're crammed in there and those little seats they got.
No, I mean yeah. I don't know. I think COVID's probably not been so good for the movie industry, but I thoroughly enjoyed just being able to put your feet up. You don't have to care about anything. Seats recline now.
Oh yeah.
It's all gravy.
It's great. And then by me, actually, there's one that serves food and alcohol.
Yep, that's what we got down
Fantastic.
here. Yeah, it's but you gotta, it's like going to a baseball game or something. You gotta pack your wallet.
Oh yeah, you gotta know you're going out on that night.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, Tyson. Well, as promised, to round up this Super Bowl week, we got our big Super Bowl gambling show today. A lot to get through. We're gonna have some fun on this one. And Tyson and I have done throughout the entire playoffs, we're gonna have a pick against the spread, totals. We got our props we're gonna go through, and of course, the world famous roundtable player prop parlay that's gonna get you nice and rich on Sunday. We're hoping so, at least. So we're gonna go through that. Then at the end, we got our little Super Bowl party betting sheet we're gonna go through. So if you guys are at a Super Bowl party, you're not a big gambler, you're just kind of there, you want to watch the halftime show, but they print out these betting sheets or these little pick sheets. They're honestly really fun. So if you're listening, you're not the biggest football fan, we got you covered on those. So maybe you can win that, win a little competition. I don't know, maybe win some beer, maybe win a little scratch money in there as well. So we got you covered in this episode.
Absolutely. And I will say, uh, purple on the Gatorade color right now, plus 1400 over on FanDuel. It's my favorite flavor. So, at plus 1400, you might as well take it. I'm sure there's a more analytical approach, but I, I, I don't, I don't have time.
And what are you going? You going tails never fails? I think that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I got to go heads. I feel like it's almost always heads.
I know. Maybe tails always fails, maybe, but I'm
Maybe
gonna
it's
go tails.
recency bias with the Chiefs overtimes, but I feel like it's heads. Whenever somebody says tails never fails is when it's heads.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So maybe I just jinxed the Rams. I guess they have to pick the road team technically in this one. So
Yeah,
maybe they have to listen
we
to
need
you.
to talk about that maybe. Like, how is that? How do you think the Bengals feel about the fact that they're in the the Rams locker room, while the Rams are across the hall in the away team locker room? At a certain point, wouldn't you think like if I'm if I'm in Cincinnati, I look over, it's like a picture of Aaron Donald and his family,
Yeah,
like in the locker. Like that's weird. I don't know if
that's
I'd
weird.
rather be in that one.
I know that is weird. I didn't even think of that. Well, maybe they could just give the Rams their home locker room and be like, all right, guys, this is way too weird.
Well, yeah, that's either that or if I'm the Rams, I'm messing with everything in that locker room all week long.
Oh,
Like, the AC is going to go out. It's going to flood at halftime. It's going to be wild, but unforeseen.
exactly. All right, Tyson. As we always do on these big ones, we know what time it is, baby. It's money making time. It's time for us to share our picks, share our sides, and we got props as usual. I can't wait to get into this one for the last NFL game of the year. It breaks my heart to say that, but we're here.
Yeah, thankfully, with the advent of social media and the prevalence of all these different places to bet on sports, we this is the last football week we get a bet on the NFL going forward. Aaron Rodgers needs a new team, maybe
Yep.
that's a line out there somewhere. Russell Wilson, you can find all this stuff. It's just not the same, is it, Brad?
No, it's really not. It's really not. But we're gonna make the most of it while we can, while we have it here, and get you ready for the big game. So let's start off. We're gonna start with the Rams and Bengals against the spread and total picks here. Right now, as we're recording this, the line is on FanDuel. Rams favored by 4. The over-under is at 48.5. Let me start off with my picks here. I don't have a side here. I think the Rams are going to win. I don't want to lay the minus 198 on the money line. And I hate that number at 4, to be completely honest. I think this might be a field goal game. So I hate the 4. And like, oh, take the Bengals. Like, but I'm not convinced enough with that number 4 there that I'm going to take anything. But so my edge here, I'm going to take under 48.5 as my official pick. 2 conservative coaches here. I think 2 that are going to try to focus on running the ball and ball control. And I think there's going to be a lot of time chewed up off the clock by each of these drives. And they're both going to try to limit explosive plays from both locker rooms here. So a lot of keeping players in front, a lot of running the football. I think the clock's going to be dripping down off the clock. I got under 48.5 as my official.
That's a pessimistic view, Brad. This is the Super Bowl. This is the last game of the year. We want points, man. I do agree with you as far as picking who's going to win the game. I think that's been, harder than in years past. Normally, I have a pretty good idea by now of who I think is going to win the game and why. I think that the Bengals can win this game, but I'm not going to bet the Bengals +4 unless I think the Bengals can win the game, because then I'm just going to go Bengals money line. Because in giant games like this, I don't necessarily love taking spreads anyways, because they can get so weird so quick. So I'm trying to but when you have to talk yourself into something, probably not ideal. I will say I like the over in this game. I think that it's going to be quiet for a minute, and then I think some play is going to happen. There's too many high-level playmakers on the field. Somebody's going to open the floodgates, and then all of a sudden I think we'll see points kind of start flooding in. Plus that 48.5 number is not enough to scare me off. I just think like that's a 31 to 20 game, and I think realistically that could happen with these two offenses. And I want to see it. I would much rather bet that and then spend the whole game hoping that something happens than bet the opposite way and spending the whole game hoping nothing happens. I don't get you under betters.
Hey, well, last time McVay was in this game, I hammered the Patriots money line and the
under. What's the line on Sean McVay shitting down his leg this time?
Man, hopefully, pretty low. I don't want to see anything crazy happen where that's going to affect my number here. So Tyson, mano for the last time here. I'm on under 48.5. He's on over 48.5. And last thing I want to add in here, I'm going to tease this thing though as well. I'm going to do a 6-point teaser. Bengals up to 10. And if you can get 4.5 on game day, obviously take that. I'm going to lock it at 10 right now. I don't think the Bengals get blown out. I mean, I can see them potentially maybe losing by 10. But I'll take Bengals +10, and I'll tease that to under 54.5. So I'm going to tease up that total and take the under. I like that one. Just seems like too many points to me with that number and too many points with the Bengals. So those are my official picks, my 6-point teaser, under 48.5. Then Tyson is on over 48.5. So mano for the last time, unfortunately.
And I have a feeling that I'm going to be taking Cincinnati in some capacity. I just don't want to do it.
You're not there yet, but
no.
On game day, anything can change here.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna see Joe Burrow walk out of the tunnel, and then I'm just gonna be like, that guy can beat Matt Stafford today, and that's
right.
that's like what it's gonna come to. I already know it's in my head. I'm too stupid to stop myself.
All right, well, that's our side and total picks here. We're gonna move on to props and exotics. And Tyson, he always comes with some crazy shit that he's got to drop for you guys. Plus 300 type of deal. Just a bunch of different actions. So, Tyson, why don't you go ahead and lead it off? What are you looking at here? Where's some value on the board that you're going to take advantage of?
Well, I will say, if you want good luck betting this week, I think it's worth looking at Evan McPherson kicking the game-winning walk-off field goal at the end of regulation at plus 1,000. I mean, if the Bengals are going to win, they've shown us this is how they get it done. At the end of games here, that's 2 in a row where they've Evan Shooter McPherson, I guess, has
Yeah.
come out here,
Money
knocked
Mac.
it down. I just think that one's funny. One that I do actually really like at plus 500 is Trey Hendrickson, Von Miller, and Aaron Donald to all have 1 sack each or more. I think that, if you listen to either one of the preview shows there, I think Aaron Donald has a good game. I think Von Miller has to have a good game. And then I think Trey Hendrickson is, he's the guy. He's always around the ball for the Bengals. You're just asking him to get one, which I think is very doable. I got some other ones on here. These ones aren't quite as interesting, but it's like Matt Stafford to have 250 plus passing yards and 2 plus passing touchdowns at minus 125. And then the same thing for Joe Burrow at plus 105. I think that those guys both look. I think that if Joe Burrow would be the guy that's probably not over that 250 number, if they're not, I guess let me rephrase this. I think Matt Stafford will be there easier than Burrow will be, but at the end of the game, Burrow, like against Kansas City, he can go from 200 to 250 within 3 plays, and then he's making that up for you. And I think that's a good chance that that's how this game plays out. That the Rams are up, and Burrow has to come out throwing the ball in the second half.
That's it. So Stafford for the same line. Stafford's minus 125, Burrow's plus 105.
Yep.
That's interesting for 250 and 2 TDs. Well, I like the Burrow 2 TDs there because one of my prop picks, I have Joe Burrow over 1.5 touchdown passes as one of mine. So I like that. I think you're right, Tyson. He's going to be slinging the rock. We've seen it, man. I mean, he gets the ball in the end zone, throwing it down in the red zone. It seems like Zach Taylor tries to run the ball in. It gets stopped, and he's like, screw it. Let me go to Burrow and let him make some magic, and he's been able to do it. So I think they're going to be throwing the ball. I like Burrow to have over 1.5 touchdown passes.
That's funny because I have another one that I have in here is Burrow to throw 1 passing touchdown or more in each half at plus 115. So we're all over Joe Burrow having 2 touchdowns in this game. I think we need to add that maybe to the roundtable parlay. And then just the last one, I'll just finish up here quickly. Plus 4,100, each team to score 2 plus rushing touchdowns, 2 plus passing touchdowns. That's a higher scoring game than we're anticipating. But these are 2 of the more balanced teams in the red zone when it comes to scoring in the league. And if you believe it's going to be a shootout and you think that we can approach that both teams scoring 30 points number, then I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was, an even split across the board.
So that's what, plus 41?
Mm-hmm.
Whoo, 4,100. My Lord. Tyson, I told you Tyson was going to find something that he likes that's going to be crazy. Obviously, for the novices here, that's $10. You throw that down, you win 410 back. So he's finding you some value on the board. Hell, if you even throw $1, you're getting 41 back. So there you go. So that's something big. I'll run through mine here. I already mentioned I like Burrow over 1.5 touchdown passes. I also like Joe Mixon over 3.5 receptions. I think it's going to be some screen games. It's been effective against the Rams, especially when they kind of pin their ears back. It's going to be good for the Bengals to keep them on their toes. Throw some screen passes, some swing passes to Mixon. I like him to have 4 plus catches there. Also like Tyler Boyd over 3.5 receptions. I'm going to take a flyer on that just based on the zone defense they cover that the Rams do on defense. Boyd's more of that zone breaker, kind of sitting in that zone. And this is, of course, all based on CJ Uzama's health, or at least the lack thereof, coming off an MCL sprain. Uzama pledged to play. I don't know how many snaps he's going to be able to play. So I'm going to go zone breaker Tyler Boyd to have over 3.5 receptions. It's the big game, Tyson. I love my boy Van Jefferson.
Your boy.
I love my boy Van Jefferson.
What's his odd?
I'm going to take him over 33.5 receiving yards. He could get that in one play.
Yeah, that's what you say every week.
I say it every week. He can get it in one play. So I'm going to take a shot on him to show up when the lights are brightest. I'm going to take a shot on him there. Some other singles that I've placed: Akers over 65.5 rush and Chase over 2.5 rush yards. We'll expand on that more later. That's a little preview for potential roundtable player prop parlay. And then some other shots. I'm going to take a touchdown prop shot here. Kendall Blanton, the tight end for the Rams, to get in the end zone at plus 260. We don't know the health of Higbee. He may be another MCL deal. He may be on limited snap count. I think Blanton got in the end zone last week against the Niners, or I guess 2 weeks ago now against the Niners. So I'll take a shot on him at plus 260. I like that value there.
Yeah, I mean, I love all those. And then if you've been listening to this podcast at all when it comes to the betting, you know that I have to take Evan McPherson over 7.5 points in
Oh
the game.
yeah,
I
have to.
am the kicking better guy. This is like I think that's I gotta check the odds there. Minus 144 for him to go over 7.5. So it's not ideal, but I think I've given that one out 5 times this year, and the other 4 were Daniel Carlson.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good value there. And like we said, it's a Super Bowl. So this is the last time you get to do this until, if you're out of your mind preseason. If you're with the rest of us, then you'll probably wait until week 1 of next year, right? I mean, it's a long road here. So why not check the defensive props, check the kicking, it's basketball's not the same.
No, it's not. It's definitely not the same. And of course, with the Super Bowl, they always got some fun ones. So we teased it a little bit. We're going to go through a little fun sheet later. We'll pick out some of our favorites on that. But that wraps up our props and exotics. Perfect timing, Tyson, because it moves us into maybe our favorite segment that we do on the Roundtable podcast, because we are putting together our player prop parlay. And unfortunately, since these are lotto tickets, we haven't hit one yet. But I'm thinking big game. It's time that we deliver.
And we've been close. We just
Close.
We've read some things wrong, and this one, this is more of this is legitimately the only game left. So we're calling our touchdown shots. We're trying to pick everybody that's going to get in the end zone. Just the things we think are going to happen, because this is the last time you guys can, rock with us for we'll put out some other stuff too, but this one gets fun.
Oh yeah, this one gets fun. So to lead it off, this is a plus 23,917 odds here, all combined. 8-leg parlay in the same game or for the Super Bowl. First leg, we have Joe Burrow over 12.5 rush yards. If you listen to the previous podcast, Tyson, I believe he will be pressured. Tyson, I think that he does have the ability to get outside of the pocket and at least pick this up. It's going to be dependent upon if the Rams play good zone defense where they're facing Burrow, if they're going to get caught with their backs turned, and Burrow's going to be able to take advantage of that like he did against the Chiefs.
And the beauty of this one is that this could be at the last play of the game. Joe Burrow could get 13 yards rushing. This isn't one of those ones where that when we had A.J. Dillon in the one a couple of weeks ago, that it felt like he was going to get there the whole time, but the number was just to a point where when he went out, he didn't have a shot. This is Burrow could get this on the 3rd play of the game or the 3rd to last play of the game.
Exactly. So that's what we're rocking with Burrow here.
Love to start the parlays off with those ones. We're going to keep it on the rushing yards here. We're going Jamar Chase over 2.5 rushing yards in the game. Yeah, that sounds weird, coming out of your mouth betting on a wide receiver to clear rushing yards in the Super Bowl. But Jamar Chase gets the ball. Not out of the backfield, but jet sweeps all the time, and they're not the Kansas City jet sweeps that count as passes. He'll get the ball in a handoff situation 3-4 times in a game. And from what I've seen, especially against Kansas City, he's been picking up a lot more than 2.5 yards a pop, let alone in the game. So I love this one. Feels safe and feels likely.
It does feel safe and likely, and especially, listen, Zach Taylor knows Kyle Shanahan too. You don't think he called him, hey, how'd you get Debo so effective against the Rams? How'd you do this and that? I like this one a lot, Tyson. The other one we're going with, the Cam Akers over 65.5 rush yards. We're throwing this in there. They should commit to the run. I think they will. Cam Akers is explosive enough where he can get a 30-yarder on one pop. And we've seen it, man. The Bengals have some porous run defense. Deontay Foreman, he ripped some when the Titans played the Bengals. Josh Jacobs, he ripped some in their first matchup against the Bengals. This is definitely doable for Akers. It's just about the Rams committing and sticking to the run.
And additionally, this is a bad Cam Akers game since he's been back. That's 65.5. If he's going to get the ball 20 times, that Brad and I believe that he is, then 65.5, that's, a little over 3 yards a carry. That's akin to what he did against the Bucks, and the Bengals aren't the Bucks. So we like that there. And then the last one before we get into the fun part here, Joe Mixon over 24.5 receiving yards. Brad mentioned that he liked him. What was it? 3 catches, 4 catches?
4 catches.
Yeah. So right there, we know Mixon's going to hit that number at 4 catches. Even if he gets 2 catches, 3 catches, Joe Mixon's been good to us on the receiving props so far in the playoffs, and I think that continues. I think he probably gets 2 or 3 catches on the first couple drives from the Bengals as they feel their way into the game.
I agree with that. They're going to establishing Burrow into the game, settling his nerves. What's something easy? Dump off the Mixon, get your horse involved in some exotic ways. See if he can pick up 8 on a little swing pass. Boom. That's a third of it right there. And then, big time screen game that the Bengals can deploy against the Rams, who are susceptible to screen games. So that's something we love. Tyson, now it's time, baby. We're calling our shot to get you rich. We got to start with Cooper Kupp, man. I mean, he's having a season, the Triple Crown, insane. We have him to score a touchdown, to get into the end zone. He's the most likely, based on the odds from FanDuel, to get in the end zone. We're going to ride him. We're going blue chip selections here. Stafford, there's no way he doesn't get his guy in here.
Oh, and this is, we had this conversation before the show started. Like, can he do it again? And I had said that, this is 18 weeks now or whatever of evidence. I don't know how long he can do this, but I'm certainly willing to bet that Cooper Kupp keeps up what he's done this season for at least one more game, because I think Cooper Kupp in the end zone is, it's becoming a tradition here when you watch the Rams. And what else is becoming a tradition when you watch the Rams and when you listen to the roundtable is Odell Beckham Jr. finding his way into the end zone as well. I think we've said it every week and we've been wrong once on Odell Beckham Jr. finding his way into the end zone. I think Matt Stafford throws for more than 1 touchdown. I think that Cooper Kupp gets one of those touchdowns. That leaves either Higbee, Van Jefferson, Odell Beckham, really, to catch that other touchdown. Odell's done it a bunch since he showed up. When the other guys score, it's because it was schemed. When Odell scores, it's because he's better than the guy across from him. And Matt Stafford really, really trusts Odell Beckham down there in the goal in the red zone. And I do think that the Rams are going to kind of live in that potential scoring threat area that Odell is so good for him in this game.
We got to go with another blue chipper, Jamar Chase. That's Burrow's guy. Similarly to what you just said about Kupp and Beckham, man. If Burrow's going to score a touchdown this one, he's going to go to guys he trusts. What better person than Jamar Chase we won a championship with? What better person than his guy, man? Making him look like Randy Moss out there. He's going to find a way to get Jamar Chase into the end zone. The other thing too, Tyson, it doesn't have to just be receptions. It could be he takes a little reverse. He knocks out our 2.5 rush yards, gets into the end zone on something as well. Bada bing, bada boom. Jamar Chase, I'm buying a jersey.
Yeah, we could just have him throw it to Mixon, because that's our next one. We got Joe Mixon to round this thing out here. Joe Mixon to find his way into the end zone. I think that this is possibly the most slept on player going into this game as far as the discussion around the game. It's revolving heavily around the 2 quarterbacks. But when you talk about the Rams, or you hear people talk about the Rams, they're saying Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham and Cam Akers and Matt Stafford and Sean McVay and Aaron Donald and Jonas. When they talk about the Bengals, people are saying Joe Burrow. And how did Joe Burrow do this? And how has he been doing this? And then they'll talk about the wide receivers a little bit, but nobody is talking about Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon is kind of the underrated guy. He's kind of the hero of this Bengals offense. When he has good games, the Bengals play really well, and they're really hard to stop. And I think he's in line for at least a shot at one, because I think that they'd be crazy to not let Joe Mixon have the ball here. And I think I'll take it one step further. I think Joe Mixon has a touchdown early, or at least a couple big plays early, because I think he's going to come out swinging and punch the Rams in the mouth. I think that 24.5 receiving number in the touchdown could be accomplished at the same time.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be great. So to round it up for everybody out there, our roundtable parlay, player prop parlay at plus 23,917. Burrow over 12.5 rush yards. Chase over 2.5 rush yards. Akers over 65.5 rush yards. Mixon over 24.5 receiving yards. Cooper Kupp touchdown. Odell Beckham Jr. touchdown. Jamar Chase touchdown. And Joe Mixon touchdown. 8 legs, 8 for the glory in our last game of the year, Tyson.
I love it. And I think it's funny because Brad has the under, but then we have 4 touchdowns in our player parlay. So is there only going to be like 5 touchdowns in the game?
I'll say this. With all due respect to that under bet, fuck it. If we're going to hit this lotto. Oh, my God. That's got me pumped already. All right. Tyson, I've been teasing this all show. You're not a big gambler. That's fine. That's fine. You're not dipping your toes in it. You just want to go to a Super Bowl party. You're hanging out. Maybe you're hanging with your boyfriend, or maybe your boyfriend's hanging with you. He's not a big football fan. You're the football fan in the family, and you're dragging him to a Super Bowl party, and they start handing out these betting sheets, and everybody's like, what the hell are these? Well, you pretty much kind of similar props across the board. It's just little random fun ones that are just kind of listed that you can print out, and everybody circles one. And the person with the most points at the end, they win. So Tyson and I, we're looking at one. This is from DraftKings Nation. There's something random here that we've been looking at. And we already said Tyson's on heads. I'm on tails for coin toss outcome. Color of Gatorade. On this one, it says yellow or orange or any other outcome. Tyson likes purple. I actually like yellow, but blue's the favorite in the betting market. So, any other outcome seems likely there.
It's such a ridiculous sentence.
Tyson, what are some ones going down this list that jump out to you, or any ones that you want to highlight for the audience out there?
I think MVP position, quarterback, other. I'd go quarterback 10 times out of 10. The amount of times that it's, if this game's played 1,000 times, Burrow and Stafford are winning 900 of the MVPs there. Trying to over under longest field goal. I think somebody's going to take probably something around 50 yards. And then the length of national anthem. I saw an interesting video today where the singer traditionally sings it at 86 seconds. So if you think backup dancers are going to matter, or the moment, or does the NFL have something planned, maybe you think that she'll sing for 10 seconds longer than she has in the past, or maybe you ride that 9 seconds one. But the amount of work that people will put in to be right on these bets specifically always amazes me. I've always wondered too, because you can find bets that are like color of Al Michaels' tie, and it'll be like plus 50,000 for him to wear like a pink, yellow, green polka dot one.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just hand his money to somebody he really trusts, and then they go bet that, and then he wears the tie?
I don't know.
Why are they always wearing somebody's got to.
Well, NBC, they're just like, hey, wear the. Well, they probably wearing their quarter zips. They're probably not even wearing a tie.
Yeah.
What's the option for no?
Yeah, seriously. Is that who has the Super Bowl this year? Is NBC?
NBC, yeah, it's gonna be Collinsworth and Michaels, which is just perfect.
Yeah, hopefully they have more enthusiasm.
Well, Michaels lost his bet against the Eagles. Yeah, that's why he was all upset.
He was not happy. Hopefully, yeah. But that'll be good. We'll get the slide and everything.
We'll get the slide, exactly. Some of the ones on here I like. Let's see. I just had it. Successful field goals. I like over 3.5. Where is it at? I'm just had it. Now I can't see. Either team registers a safety. No, I don't like that one. I mean, if you're getting 50-50 odds on this thing, obviously take no. So that's just a little something there. Big man touchdown. D to score a touchdown. OT or DT to score a touchdown. I'm sorry. No, don't like that. And here we go. This is the one I was looking for. Total players to attempt the pass, over or under 2.5. So obviously we're going to get Burrow and Stafford. That's 2. So it's that hook right there. I'm saying over. I'm saying over. Odell Beckham Jr. attempts to pass.
Who's he throw it to?
He throws it the cup. Or what about this one? To Van Jefferson hits my player prop
For
over
34 yards.
for 34 yards.
That would be pretty awesome. I guess that's all I have on that sheet. I think probably the same for you, huh?
Yeah, that's I mean, we don't want to go through all these. We can't spoon feed you all these answers, but we want to
Well,
leave it a little bit of fun. We want to help you guys out though if you listen.
I did have a legitimate question here that just popped in my head, but so if Burrow wins the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP, that's what made me think of it. But if he does that after winning the Heisman, the national championship, going number one overall, and really only playing like a half a year of football last year, is that the most impressive 3-year stretch of like accolades for a younger player in the NFL in quite a while? It's got to be, right?
Oh, it's got to be, man.
Like
I mean,
I'm trying to think of somebody who can
like
say that,
Namath maybe, or like Joe Namath.
but like
But
in this short a time.
I know.
He legitimately got to play like
Yeah, especially with the national championship and the Heisman and number one
and then
overall.
this is
Yeah,
off
it's
an
tough.
ACL tear. Like this dude is, this story is pretty incredible.
It is. So they got to
And
finish the job.
We'll end the NFL season the same way we started it. That's why I hate Urban Meyer. That's why Urban Meyer should have never got a job in Jacksonville, is because he let Joe Burrow out the door. No, I just had to bring it up because that was
that was the way that coming full circle here. All right, man. Well, it's always disappointing when it's the last game of the season. I'm hoping it's at least a good one for everybody out there. Hoping that we makes everybody a little bit of cash on
that
this.
it's a good game.
What are you doing for it, by the way? Are you doing a big party or?
I never really do. I don't know. I like to watch the game. I like to make sure that I'm like watching the whole thing. I'll go to parties or whatever, but I'm the guy on the couch that like doesn't get up and mingle around so much. Maybe if I'm grabbing like a plate during a commercial or something. But when there's too many people just like talking and not paying attention, it gets hard.
Yeah, it's tough,
especially if you bet on it.
Yeah, it's because then you got to pay attention to everything. I know. I think we're doing what we did one last year and actually worked out in my favor because I had the Bucks, and so I'm hoping maybe I can build that over to this year and I hit everything. Maybe that's a good juice for our player prop parlay.
I mean, yeah, I could. I'm also now rooting against it because I know how humble you can be. So
I'm very humble.
At the Super Bowl party, people are going to be like, "What?" People are going to be actively rooting against it. So.
Well, maybe I'll make everybody take it with us, so everybody will be riding it.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's the price of admission to get into your party.
You got to show the phone. You got to get the phone going. Hey, show me the ticket so you can ride in with our roundtable player prop parlay and let's get rich.
Just at the wrong house.
Yeah, they're like, what? Why can't I get in? Tyson, always a pleasure, my man. It's been a hell of a ride throughout the NFL season. Thank you to the fans, obviously, and the audience for listening. You guys interacting with us has been fantastic. Doesn't mean the NFL conversation is over by any means. I mean, we got coaching hires that we have to go through. I mean, we just once this game's over, all coaching positions have been filled. We have our thoughts on that. Obviously, we have basketball to talk about. We're getting down to the nitty gritty in college basketball. NBA starting to heat up. We got the All-Star break, and then it's going to get pedal to the metal. So a lot more content coming out from the roundtable. We have to turn the page on the NFL after Sunday.
Yeah, and I will say I went out gloriously. This was pretty good postseason of Brad picking against me every week and having to lick his wounds there.
Oh, my
It was
God,
looking
man.
shaky for me for a minute there in the middle of the regular season with the Pick'em show, and then to close out the way I did in the playoffs. I'm proud, really am.
You turned into Jeter, and I turned into A-Rod, man. I just fell apart. I fell apart in the postseason.
But for real though, like on that note, what I'm saying is this was like one of the better playoffs, period. I think, and I'm hoping that it culminates in an all-time Super Bowl because we haven't had like that. The Super Bowls, like last year's Super Bowl, kind of a blowout. More than kind of. It felt for some weird reason like the Chiefs still had a shot, even though it was out of reach. The Chiefs Niners Super Bowl, really the thing that sticks out most is Jimmy Garoppolo missing that
Right.
pass, kind of anticlimactic. And that, so the Eagles Patriots one, when you go back, and then it was some years before that. So hopefully this is one of the really, really good games.
Let's hope so. Everybody, we appreciate you listening as always. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share it with your friends. We'd love to build this audience. We love you guys communicating with us. And to do so, contact us on social media. Instagram @_ the roundtable pod _ me on Twitter @bwakai, Tyson on Instagram @Tyson Gentry. Pick our brains, ask us questions. We will answer them on this podcast. We promise you. So don't be shy. We are nice guys. We'll answer. We'll get you on a little airtime through your question. And I know I feel like I'm signing out for some weird reason, but putting the bow in the NFL season. We got a lot of more exciting stuff to come. I mean, don't go anywhere.
We almost got March Madness. Like it flows. Everything flows.
Exactly. So we appreciate the support as always. Join us in the next sport season. Hopefully we get a little bit of a little rich on this episode. But until next time, guys, peace.